An update. My girlfriend rejected my marriage proposal twice. Hello Reddit. A lot of you guys are looking forward for an update. Many have sent personal message of encouragement. I really appreciate it, guys. It's been a while since my last post regarding my story. The post was taken down due to my low karma here or something. To recap, I'm 28M, an entrepreneur, law student, and my girlfriend is 27F, also working. So she rejected me first when I was broke as fuck and thought that love was all we need. Gave her time and took 3 years, worked my ass up, was able to establish a business, made it grow, etc. Then asked her again, which she rejected since we were not ready and I need to be stable. Many of you guys advised me to just dump her. Some advised to talk to her to clear things. So I decided to talk to her. So she told me that I still have a tendency to act like a kid and not mature enough to handle family situations. That she might have a problem if ever I will become her husband. I got to admit, yes, I still a kid in heart. All of the things I was deprived when I was little I buy now. Most of them an upgrade of what I like when I was a kid. I love buying those die-cast metal model of cars, like Maisto for reference, and Hot Wheels. Dude, I love those. On weekends I love road trips and unplanned getaways without no clear destination and just drive away with her beside me. On free time I'm at the gun range just shooting. I really fancy guns when I was a little. I can remember when I was little, I would go outside and make a makeshift gun out of fallen sticks and branches. Another thing is when I bought a sports bike just last year, I didn't know that it was an issue for her. I told her I really fancy sports bike and I bought it with my own money. So just recently, I told her I want to get into racing motorcycles. I bought racing gears, helmet, I even enrolled to racing school for that. She told me I act like a child. I won't deny these things. So for her, basically I'm not ready to have a family because I love doing these things. So I asked my close friend recently whether my girlfriend is right that I should just stop these things. I love doing all of these hobbies, but I also love my GF. My friend told me, dude, if all the time you have to prove something to her then it is not love, so this had me thinking. She honestly doesn't sound like the one. When you find the one, she will do your favorite things with you and enjoy them with you because they are a part of who you are. What is it about this girl that makes you want to marry her? And do you think she feels the same about you? She basically wants you to become extremely boring, lol. And your friend is right, that's not love. Good for you for talking to her about it. Not to be means oundle, but it comes across like she will always have an excuse not to marry you. The reasons she mentioned should be things she loves about you, not a reason to not marry you. When you had the conversation, did you ask at all exactly what her circumstances to say yes would be? Or if she will have a different excuse next time? If I were you, I would give it some thought about whether this is the kind of person you'd like to marry. It sounds like you deserve better. Your hobbies and interests are fine. This girl doesn't sound interested in you at all. You should move on. I agree with your friend. I mean, the first time is a red flag. Broke shouldn't determine love for each other. You shouldn't have to work that much just to try to ease her in. The right person would never try to discourage you from your hobbies, unless they were getting in the way of living your life. Even if you're not that keen on whatever the person you love is doing, you'll be glad the other person is happy. Instead, she wants you to become whatever ideal she has in mind. I guess you're incompatible, to say the least. Besides, when she rejected your proposal, if she really wanted to eventually marry you, she'd have sit down with you to discuss your life and future plans as a couple. It wouldn't have been a no, it would have been a not yet. It sounds like your girlfriend is trying to mold you into someone she would like. Don't do that. You need to keep enjoying the things in life you love to do. And there is a woman out there who will give you that space. I sort of see her point. She seems to be someone that needs stability in her spouse, which you don't seem to have. Look at it from her point of view. She was with you when you didn't have a stable job or money. Entrepreneur. Come on, dude. And now you finally have both, and now you suddenly seem to want to have a second childhood and race around on a motorbike. I see where she would be thinking about where this is actually going. She is now 27 and might be thinking about having children and settling down. She obviously wants to do that with someone that is stable, both mentally, job and money-wise. How do I tell my fiancé, 26M, that I, 24F, hate my engagement ring? Hello. I'm not quite sure how to summarize this best, but I hate my engagement ring. My fiancé, Rick, and I met when I was 19 and he 21, and have been together ever since. We've had our disagreements, but for the most part our relationship is harmonious. The problems began with COVID, I suppose. Rick was raised in large part by his grandparents and loved his grandma more than anyone. No complaints from me, she was an amazing woman. She passed away abruptly, though, in 2021 and left everything to Rick, her only grandson. It was a decent sum of money and allowed us to take more time off during the pandemic to be with each other and out of harm's way. But most importantly, she left Rick a family heirloom, her mother's, and hers, engagement ring which I had never knew about. Rick and I have been talking of getting married for a long time, and have picked out a Pinterest board full of ideas which he knew about and had access to. He's known that my dream engagement ring was a simple, thin, silver band with rubies, and that I never wear gold jewelry. Rick proposed over Christmas, while all of his family were there, and while I was initially thrilled at the proposal, as soon as I saw the ring part of me withered. But by that point his mom was crying and aunts and uncles were congratulating us. So I put it on, and vowed to talk about it later. But I can't seem to find the right time. Every time I mention the ring, Rick brings up how much it meant to his grandma and how he misses her, so it never feels right to blurt out that I hate it. It's not a minor issue, either. The ring is heavy, gold, the size of my knuckle, with, in my opinion, gaudy diamonds and other gems. I don't want to seem ungrateful, but I just find it so very, very ugly. What do I do? Any advice helps. Less than 3. I mean, you may be able to broach it gently along the lines of, since this is a family heirloom, I would feel much more comfortable keeping this someplace safe, and using a store-bought ring for day-to-day wear, so that if something happened we know her ring is still safe. How many grandchildren did she have? Maybe you can suggest that it pass around the family as the proposal ring. Remind him that you had a preferred style, and while you love the idea, you don't love the ring. The cousin who last proposed, your boyfriend now, has it for safekeeping after you both pick out your forever ring, and the next one who proposes gets it from him. Then it can pass to the great-grandkids, etc. Tell him you want an everyday ring because you don't want to harm this ring. It can be a special occasion ring. I also used a ring passed down from my grandma, but I took the diamond and reset it on a silver band. Hers was gold. And added some smaller diamonds to make it different. I thought it was a nice compromise. Maybe something like that can be done with yours? Good luck. It means a lot to him. People do lose rings if they wear them daily. I can't imagine he would forgive you if it dropped down a sewer grate or got left in a public bathroom. Tell him ASAP and make that point, and then gently mention that it's also not your style, so while you love him and what it means to you both, and it will always be your engagement ring, you would like to buy something else for you to actually wear. Absolutely tell him. Just sit him down, and in the kindest way possible rip off the band-aid. Tell him how excited you are to be engaged, and that you know how special the ring is, blah blah blah, but it's just not your style. Tell him you guys can keep it for your kids or whatever, but you really don't feel comfortable wearing it. Just do it. It might suck and he might be sad, but you're the one that has to wear it. If I was in your shoes I would probably feel the same. There are very few pieces of antique jewelry I like, and definitely can't stand big chunky rings. I need to wear gloves all the time, and anything that gets snagged would drop me insane. Babe. I love you and I want to marry you. Part of that is having a token of our love in a ring. I appreciate the history and sentiment of this ring. But it's not at all my style and honestly makes me kind of sad. Can we either reset some of these stones in a setting that I like or buy something else, because I want to honor your family, but I really can't see myself wearing this on a daily basis. And as a side note, I doubt he's that sentimental about it. I think he's being cheap. Free engagement ring that has absolutely no redeeming qualities for my girlfriend, but hey, we are engaged. Problem solved. I've seen heirlooms reset into a modern setting while keeping the basic design. Is it a ring you can make into a lower profile setting? Or adjust the stones and have less gold to make it a sleeker fit? I would approach it as I absolutely love the history and stories this ring represents. I want to wear it every day, and I don't want it to get damaged or be in the way. Would you be open to seeing a jeweler to lower the setting and make sure the stones are secure? A good jeweler will be able to keep the integrity of the ring's design, use the materials already from the ring and redesign it. You could potentially have enough left over for a wedding band either for you or for him, which could be cute. Married and lonely. I just caught my wife cuddling with her guy friend. We had a couple of her friends over for a game night, there were drinks involved. I got tired around midnight and went to bed, the rest kept on playing and drinking. I woke up at 8 a.m. and noticed my wife wasn't in bed. I got out of the bedroom and saw one of the guys on our sofa and our guest room was closed but with some music coming out. I snuck in there and there she was, in his arms, fully clothed though. They didn't even notice me right away, but when they did there wasn't any panic. She got up and pulled on my sleeve to follow her outside the room. We pretty quickly got to talking about our marriage problems, or singular problem rather. Our problem is that we haven't had sex since September and we haven't really talked about it until now. I find myself in a tough situation in life. On top of this, I'm an immigrant that doesn't speak the language well. I just started a new job as a boss of other people who applied for the same position but didn't get it, so I'm not feeling welcome there. I have no close friends here, just some buddies from my previous work. I'm starting to ask myself what the hell am I doing here, and I'm having trouble coming up with a good answer. I've never felt so sad and lonely in my life. Your wife is already emotionally checked out at best, cheating at worst. You need to either go to marriage counseling to resolve this, or end things before you get a pregnancy involved. I'd like to think for most people, catching their remorseless spouse in the arms of another person would be a deal-breaker. Even with the lack of sex, to forego discussion and/or therapy and begin emotionally cheating is such incredible disrespect. You deserve better, dude. So you caught your spouse in the arms of another man and they did it after they were sure you went to bed. And she wasn't scared or shocked to see you catch her. Yeah, sorry to say it, man, end it, because sooner or later she's gonna be doing a lot more than cuddling with him. Bail and go home. You will be much happier. So you caught her cuddling, she calmly got up, pulled you outside the room, to then talk about your marriage problems? Lol. Bro. Leave her if you don't have kids, this is the perfect time to get out. Start fresh. I'm sorry to read that and I feel for you. Immigrant life is not easy. Please have compassion for yourself. You've been through a lot. I think that the counseling is a good idea. I understand that her behavior hurt you. However, have you talked about your love language? Touch might be hers, even in friendship. Just because they were clothed doesn't mean nothing nefarious happened. You went to bed at 12 and found them at 8. That's 8 hours to have sex, clean up, and get redressed. Especially with the other friend passed out in the living room and them playing music to drown out any noise coming from the room. Dude, leave now. End that shit. That's all. Is it ever okay to do illegal drugs with your adult children? My wife just confessed she did cocaine with our adult son this past summer. We had been talking a few weeks back about our experiences when we were young, and at this time, she stated she last did drugs in college. She felt guilty for lying, so confessed tonight about her adventures 6 months ago. Keep in mind, I have never even seen cocaine and tried pot in the 8th grade and did not like it. She tried many things and liked it all but stopped once she began her professional career, which is when I met her. I do admit her drug past upset me early on, but we moved past it years ago. I am sometimes judgmental and project my values on others, so thus my question. I don't think there is ever a situation where it is appropriate to take illegal drugs with your own child regardless of their age. My wife thinks it is fine. Her argument: she has done it before and it never caused her any harm, and our son and his friends would have done it whether she participated or not. I am devastated on so many levels. I have no idea what to do next. Like someone else said, I think weed is fine, but I don't think any parent should even want their children to do any hard drugs, let alone do it with them. Being upset is definitely reasonable, but it seems she is sincerely sorry about it, seeing as she told you when she easily could have never let you find out. I'd be worried about fentanyl in the coke. It's been a problem for a while here. Some people test for it with strips. Some people OD unexpectedly. Maybe weed, but otherwise I'm with you. What is sad is that she did it well knowing how you would feel about it and hid it from you. Sit down and talk to her about your position and how you are uncomfortable. If you weren't, you clearly wouldn't be posting about it. Don't mind what people on Reddit say about it being okay and that it's a cool thing to do and you should evolve and be trendy to please your kids. Also, your wife did coke for her own pleasure, and any bullshit of saying, oh, it was to supervise my son and keep him safe isn't the main point. She did cocaine because she wanted to take this drug again. How old is your son? If he's over 21 and it's a blue moon occurrence, I don't think it's a huge deal. They're both adults. It's not a habitual thing. I don't see a problem. I mean, it is a topic you obviously disagree on. You are unlikely to change your mind about it. I tend to agree more with you personally. Kinda hypocritical, but I probably would not mind pot as much, but I personally dislike how normalized cocaine use is and how willingly your son and wife are to indulge in it. You can't really stop them though, but you can share your distaste, I suppose. The lie is a problem as well. You could probably just let it go, but if you can't, you may need to seek some therapy etc. to help. Hard drugs? Hell no. I especially can't imagine a mother being okay with watching her baby boy snort blow, let alone encourage it. No matter how old the kids are, you still have to be good role models for the rest of your lives. I'd tell them both that I in no way condone what they did and that I'm extremely disappointed in their behavior. I'd also let my spouse know that if anything like that ever happened again, I'd be changing the locks.